Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks and welcome to Inkdependence.com. Today we're checking out this ink from Monteverde. This is from the Gemstone collection, and as you can see there, it is Monteverde's Moonstone. This comes in a 30 ml bottle, also a 90 ml bottle, also cartridges. You can get it in samples. I bought this one from Anderson Pens for $8. This is one that I had in a sample. I'm like, this sample's real cool. I'm gonna get a bottle of this because it looks dope. There you go. That's the story behind this. Let's take a look at the ink itself. So here it is. It's kind of I think it's a cool sort of medium brown, medium dark brown, depending on what kind of nib you put it in. You can see it gets a little bit of shading there on the swab up here. Well, not really a swab, like a swatch with a letter opener. Y'all know how I do things. And also I've put it into very different nibs. The first one was in this pen. This is a Pilot Custom 91. And as you can see there with the sticker, double broad. So let's look at this nib up close. Pretty big nib, lots of tipping, more or less a paintbrush. But this is a very cool pen, and so anyway, I decided to put this Moonstone in it, see what Moonstone looked like in a big nib, because I was using in this otherwise very small nib, which comes in this pen. This is the Platinum 377-6 Shungyo with a medium nib, and the medium nibs on Platinums are actually very small. I mean, look at the difference. I mean, sure, it's going from a medium to a double broad, but still very, very different sort of line that you're getting there, different sort of ink saturation and all that jazz. While this Shungyo is not exactly dry, it's also not like a fire hose or anything, and this double broad seems to kind of be that way. Qualities, shading, but no sheen. I haven't seen any sheen anywhere on any papers with this one. There is some minor bleed on the 20-pound paper that I use. So here's the 20-pound writing sample. You can see more of this on the static blog at inkdependence.com. And I didn't have any problems with this one with regard to feathering or any of that jazz. It looks really nice in the copy paper. Just a little bit of bleed through, but that's with a double broad. So, if you use a double broad on copy paper, you're kind of, you know what you're going to get. With the medium nib, though, a couple little spots came through, but nothing really to write home about. I think it looks pretty good and works pretty well on this copy paper. And actually it looks, I think, better in the medium nib on this copy paper, just because it does sort of soak in more than it does on Rodeo, where it just looks very, very fine, a little less fine on here. All right. As far as flow, I think it's a very nice medium. I use it in these two very different nibs, but even the double broad's not out of control. It's just a wide nib, and it flows just fine on this medium nib, so no problems there. As far as writing samples and such, I really like this ink, actually. I've gotten no complaints about it, which is a nice refreshing twist after the Aeronite that I just reviewed that I just really didn't care for. Both of them in the Gemstone collection, so, the Gemstone collection is based on color, not properties or whatever, and this is much more saturated than the Aeronite is. Okay, so let's look at it on a couple other papers, and then we'll do our water test and all that kind of jazz. Firstly, we've got our ink journal here, and this is the Tomoe River ink journal. And then here are the two writing samples. As you can see, very different. I've been using this one since September, which is not terribly long, but I feel like I've had it in nibs before, because I didn't just get this bottle. I don't know, but whatever. Here we go. It looks a little bit greener almost in this the Shungyo, but you don't really get much of that coming through in the Moonstone from the Custom 91. So it looks really good on this Tomoe River. I've got no complaints there, and of course it's not going to bleed through. It's Tomoe River. And then here it is in this Inky Fingers Currently Inked book, which is falling apart on me. The staples have come all unbound. And there's the Custom Heritage 91 first, in which you get a very nice look at it. And then here in the Shungyo, some medium nib. So yeah, it looks good on all the papers I've used it on so far. So I've got no complaints about this nib yet, or this ink yet. All right, let's check out how it handles a little bit of water, and then we'll check out some color comparisons, because I've got a lot of brown inks to show it next to. So here we go. Get that off on there. Here's a little pipette this time, instead of just throwing water on it with my fingers. And you can definitely see some nice swirling action there. Let's mop that up real quick. And there we go. not a lot came off on the paper towel, or at least if it did, it's very light, but man, there's just not really much left. So yeah, this one is not water resistant, not even a little bit. Let's take a look and see what the chromatography looks like, and it looks very cool. Okay, so here's the chromatography, and I actually just did this chromatography, so I haven't really seen it until I put it down in front of you, which is kind of cool. And yeah, I show no real water resistance on here. It seems to have entirely fled from the bottom line here, but you got all kinds of cool colors in here. You got like some coppery, like tarnished coppery teal in there. We got some brown. We got some like reddish undertones. This is a really kind of complicated and cool looking ink when you chromatographize it. So there you go. There's the chromatography for this guy. All right, let's take a look at some ink samples next to this moonstone and see what we've got here. Let's see. So we've got this is Monteverde Moonstone, and it is on a coloring card, which is a nice bright white card. You can find these at all kinds of retailers, including my friend Anna at Well Appointed Desk, who designed these things. All right, here it is next to Robert Oster's Melon Tea, which is another of these brown inks that I really like a lot. And let's put it next to one that we recently did, which was Color versus JFK's Dog Pushinka. So here you have three different browns. This one looking, come on, line up. There we go. This one looking like it's much like a very regular sort of brown compared to these other two. The JFK's Dog Pushinka is like kind of maybe a dark sepia or something of that nature. It's definitely lighter than the other two. And then Melon Tea has these kind of green and yellow undertones in it that kind of give it a little bit of weird mystery stuff. But Monteverde's Moonstone looking much more straight up brown than these other two. And then let's put up here Cult Pen's Deep Dark Brown, which is actually pretty close, maybe slightly less dark than Monteverde Moonstone, although these are on slightly different papers, and maybe that has a little something to do with it. And then next to that, G. Herbon's Lidate, which is kind of a beautiful brown. I think everybody needs to have a little Lidate in their life. It's good ink, it's maybe a little bit on the dry side. But yeah, again, probably this one's the closest, this deep dark brown, to the Monteverde Moonstone. But I think Moonstone's a little bit more saturated, honestly, which is kind of weird. All right, here is Visconti's Sepia, which is not sepia at all. It's like a dark reddish brown. So that's kind of weird, but whatever. Let's put up another kind of dark reddish brown next to it, and that's Monteverde's Brown Sugar, which is a gorgeous brown. I think it runs a little bit on the red side, whereas Moonstone runs a little bit maybe on the yellower side, and then sepia is definitely like I don't know. It got so much red in there. It's almost a maroon, but not really. All right. And then last two, put up here Pelican's Edelstein's Smoky Quartz, which was the ink of the year last year, I believe. And then next to that, Cayo Iro's Stone Road of Guion, which I really wanted to like and just couldn't make myself like because it is too dry. But Moonstone, I think, is a really nice medium brown. And here are some other browns you can check out if you're so inclined. Okay, so this has been Monteverde's Moonstone. Check that out at your favorite Monteverde retailer. I obviously bought this bottle from AndersonPens.com right there. But you can find it in many places these days. So go and find yourself a bottle of Moonstone if you like this brown, and let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Again, thank you very much to my subscribers and to my patrons. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, do all those YouTube things that we all know and love. And I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.